Okay, today we're going to be looking at squaring up, a different process of squaring up. We've usually squared up by looking at the diagonals and joined them together with the horizontals. This has actually been pre-prepared, and it's just as good. Last year, what the students didn't do was to label the numbers around the edge here. If you beam in there, so number 1 all the way through to 12, and then going all the way down here to 13. And they didn't have them. It was just blank, and hence they were making mistakes by plotting the wrong coordinates. So they were kind of drawing up here when it wasn't supposed to be the right case. So if you look at number 6, for instance, here, number 6 here, you can see that if you go across and beam in there, I've slightly drawn the eyebrow because the eyebrow hits the top of number 6. You see there, so we can draw that in. So look to plot certain things which you know are bang on. The side of the eyebrow here hits the side of number 6. Then you can look at where does the nose come. Somebody tell me where the nose comes. What number does the nose come at the bottom?
Bottom of 8.
Bottom of 8. So we've got the bottom of 8. I've just plotted it in there. And this is where you go about doing things. I know, for instance, the eye here is on number 7. If you beam in there, just below number 7, put a little dot. And then what you do is lightly draw around the areas. Don't press too hard initially. Why is that? If you press too hard.
It comes out too thick.
And if you made a mistake on that particular square, what would happen then? You'd rub it out and it would smudge a little bit. So the process here, again, look at that. That curve there is starting from number 6 and 6. So we've got 6 and 6. There's a curve there. And it's going right around down here. So if you get the numbers mixed up, you can redo it, slightly draw lighter. And then another plot point is that one there. If you look at number 9 and then look at end of number 7, so we go down from number 7 there, across from number 9, and it hits that explanation there, that smile, the right side of the lip, just hits it there perfectly. So that's another coordinate you can use to make sure that everything's perfectly aligned. Now, another problem the students had last year was actually looking at shading. What a lot of them tended to do, and if you can beam into that one there, we can see the mistakes that Joe's made. He's got the eye, if you look at number 7 there, beam in, the eye starts on 7, but he's got it starting on 6, so it should have been down here. So all of the drawing subsequently isn't quite right. The top bit's probably not so bad. So little things like that, and the nose, he's got the nose coming down to bottom of number 9, and yet it's bottom of number 8, so he's got that one out. So readjusting that would obviously make it better. Now if you look at the tonal range he's got there, it's not too bad, but last year a lot of the boys were making everything too grey. Now if you look at beaming back in on here, if we look at the hair, and remember we did this earlier on, boys? Do you remember we did that grid?
Oh yeah.
Earlier on in the year of getting the different types of tones correct. Let's do it again. You beam into there. If you look at the Mr. Bean portrait itself, I can assure you that the darkest part will be here, part of the eyes here, and the hair. So you make it the darkest part possible. So we do it something like this. So instead of having it grey like the boys were doing last time, you press down really hard. And you know also that the white in the background, is it lighter than the face, or is the face darker than the background?
Face was darker.
Yeah, but why do students not do that? What they tend to do is just leave the face as though it's a white of the page, but that's not the case. Now there's a hair colour, nice and dark. And then, if we're looking there closely, I'd say it's number 4 or number 3 even. So shading Mr. Bean here, and his face isn't white. This is even darker here. Can you see? Get it? Yeah? And under here, another tone which is slightly darker, not black, but getting on towards one of the darker tones. And you can see straight away now that the drawing's beginning to take shape in a different sort of way. This part here, again, it's not white. You've got to get that tonal range correct following the form here, as you can see here. And if you beam in a little bit more, we've got quite a strong range here. And once you've got all the coordinates and all the outline established, you feel confident to put the tone down. You can do it lightly to start with if you're nervous. Because I've got experience, I can just put the tone straight in there. And at the beginning of this portrait project, this will enable you to understand a little bit about proportions, about the tone of the face, and about placing portraits within squares, within rectangles, something we're going to be doing later on. We're going to be touching on Lichtenstein as well. We're going to be looking at Lebrun, Lowry, lots of artists. Okay, that's the end of the demo.